What's up, guys? It is Brian here. Today gonna be doing a top 3 video during the middle of the week. I wanted to do this more because I'm enjoying this top 3 series, and most of you guys seem to be enjoying this as well, so I might try to do 2 a week, maybe. It depends, I'll see. But for this week, I'm gonna be doing the top 3 49ers in the 80s. So any 49ers that were exceptionally awesome during the 1980s run with the Super Bowl titles and what have you, I'm going to be putting them on the list. Hope you guys enjoyed that, but before I get the video started, please like and subscribe if you're new to this channel. Follow me on social media on the screen right here. And yeah, let's just get into it. Top 3 49ers in the 1980s. Coming in at number 3, I have Ronnie Lott. Now, this guy was the staple of the 49ers defense of the 80s. He is the reason why the 49ers defense was so damn good during that time period. His statistics, his accolades, everything just proves it. And the situation also proves that he's a tough SOB, as I mentioned in my last videos. If you don't know already, Ronnie Lott was first a cornerback, and then he transformed into a safety later on in his career in 1985. So I think that's 4 years after playing in the NFL. During the 1985 season, he had his left pinky finger amputated after getting crushed by tackle Tippy Newsom. Well, his finger was crushed, not him completely, but just his little pinky finger was in big pain. He opted not to get surgery, so he decided to get his little part of his finger amputated, which is freaking like boss right there, I guess you can say. That's just unheard of. A lot of people would not do that. A lot of people would just opt to get surgery and be out for a little bit, but this guy wanted to keep playing during the 1985-1986 season, and he didn't end up getting surgery and just started playing football again right almost immediately. That just shows you the toughness right there. That shows you how badass that he is. I couldn't really say anything else. You look at some of his clips, man, he was a hard hitter. I think that's one big thing that he really did for the 49ers. I mean, I don't know. The 49ers defense, as I always mention, they're always underrated. But I think when you mention 49ers defense, you mentioned Ronnie Lott. That's pretty much the person everyone knows that was involved during the 49ers defense. A lot of people wouldn't want to mention Keena Turner or even Charles Haley when he got drafted in the late 80s. But Ronnie Lott is the most consistent guy that any casual football fan would know or have heard of in their lives. Ronnie Lott was a freaking beast. That's all I can say. His 63 interceptions in his whole entire career just proves it right there. I think that's like second or third of all time in terms of interceptions. He was a big driving force of the 49ers winning 4 Super Bowls during the 80s. And yeah, couldn't really say anything else right there. So Ronnie Lott, beast of a player, one tough SOB, awesome defensive player. What else can you say? Coming in at number 2, I have Jerry Rice. Now, Jerry Rice has to be the GOAT of all wide receivers and even GOAT of all players, because this guy was freaking on another world. What can you say about him in terms of the wide receiver position? This guy set the standard for everyone that plays the wide receiver position, and if any player wants to be compared as the greatest receiver of all time, they get compared to Jerry Rice, and no player has ever came close to being the greatest receiver of all time in NFL history or 49er history by itself. Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, they don't even come close to Jerry Rice. And that's true in my opinion, because just look at his totals in the 1980s itself. They are just freaking amazing. In 1987, he had 22 touchdowns. Remember, 22 touchdowns. That is ridiculous right there. I think that stood for a long time until Randy Moss broke it in the 2007 season when they went undefeated in the regular season. Also, he had a lot of average yards per catch. It was pretty impressive right there. He had a lot of yardage. He averaged 1,000 yards or more in 1986 to 1989. You couldn't really say anything else. He had a very good performance against the Cincinnati Bengals in the second Super Bowl meetup when Joe Montana hit that last play to John Taylor. He was named MVP of that Super Bowl. If you were to ask anyone in the late 80s, early 90s who the greatest receiver of all time was, people would probably say Jerry Rice. And I would believe that too if I was watching football back in those days. But unfortunately, I was not watching football back in those days. I was not even thought about when Jerry Rice was tearing up the NFL world. But just looking at his statistics, looking at his play, really good player, one of the best in NFL history and 49er history as well. The statistics are there. Super Bowl MVP, Pro Bowls, All Pros, all that cool stuff, and the top wide receiver ever. That's all I can say. Before I get to the number 1 player in the 1980s, I'm going to do some honorable mentions. I'm going to be doing Charles Haley and Roger Craig. First with Roger Craig, one of the great running backs in NFL history. Not a lot of people really want to talk about him because we talk about Jerry Rice and Joe Montana, but Roger Craig, the running back, he was a very pivotal point in this 49er offense. He was the first player in NFL history to rush for 1,000 yards and catch for 1,000 yards, which is really damn good because the last player in recent history that's done it was Marshall Faulk in 1999 with the Rams when they won their Super Bowl. Doesn't happen too often. Very good player. Kind of an underrated player during the 49ers dynasty, I would say. I would definitely put him on the list on the top greatest players in the 80s, but not quite top 3. And also Charles Haley had a really good career with the 49ers, even though it was only a couple of years because he got drafted in middle to late 1980s. He was part of the 2 Super Bowls that they won in the 1980s, and also he had some beef with George Seifert near the end of his 49er career and got traded to the Dallas Cowboys and won 3 Super Bowls with them, helped them defeat the 49ers twice in the NFC Championship games. His impact is there. Couldn't put him on the top 3 in precisely just because of the fact that he only played a couple of years and what have you, so wanted to put him there, but couldn't. And also with Roger Craig, didn't want to put him in the top 3s. Just my quick honorable mentions, very good players, but not quite top 3. Coming in at number 1, is it anybody else? It's Joe Montana. I always talk about Joe Montana for the past couple of weeks now when I've been doing this top 3 career retrospects, all these kinds of videos. And Joe Montana is the first guy I always mentioned in the 1980s during the 4 Super Bowl years during the 1980s. This guy was one of the greatest players in NFL history, up there with Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback in NFL history. Up for debate right there, but I'm just going to keep it like that. He's the reason why the 49ers were relevant in the 80s, and the reason why 49er fans love their 5 Super Bowls is because of him. Well, he won 4 of them, but still, 4 Super Bowls out of 5. He was the main reason for that. 4 of those Super Bowls was a big point in the early 1980s when he made that nice comeback against the Saints. Also, people want to mention Jerry Rice as the greatest player for the 49ers in the 1980s, and yeah, I guess you could. It was kind of a toss-up between those two, but Joe Montana played longer in the 1980s. He got drafted in 79 and was a full-time starter in 1981 all the way to 1989. Had some quarterback controversy with Steve Young, but was able to persevere through that and win the Super Bowl against the Cincinnati Bengals for the 2nd time and beat the Denver Broncos the next year. He's gone through a lot in his 49er career in the 1980s. He's been able to defeat all odds, I would say. Very impressive, Joe Montana. And also, he's won 2 Super Bowls without Jerry Rice. You got to give him some props right there. He won the 1981 and 1984 seasons without Jerry Rice beforehand. Jerry Rice, fantastic, one of the great players in NFL history, but Joe Montana was able to do it without him. And I'm going to keep it like that. I think just his longevity as a 49er during the 80s and the performance that he's done and the statistics that he has, one of the greatest 49ers in 49er history and one of the greatest players in the 80s. I'm going to keep it like that, you guys. Please let me know who you guys' top 3 49er players in the 1980s are. Is it Jerry Rice, Joe Montana? Is it somebody that I didn't even mention? Please let me know in the comments below. Love to hear what you guys have to say. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a good day. I should have another video out tonight or tomorrow about a career retrospect. Be on the lookout for that. I'll see y'all then. Bye, guys. Love y'all.